I'm going to be talking today about if you're an American and you're moving up to Canada, or you've just recently moved up to Canada, some do's and don'ts, some differences between the two countries. And so let's dive into it. First thing you want to do when you're coming up here or you've come up here is find an accountant that does both your Canadian taxes and your US taxes. There's fewer of them around. But you definitely want to find one that does both. I've seen too many issues with Canadian accountant filing the Canadian taxes, US accountant filing the US taxes. It's just easier if they're one person's doing it, keeping track of everything, save you a lot of headache. Do not use a friend or a family's address in the States for your investment statements, so you don't have to transfer your investments up here. What will happen is the SEC does not like that. And quite often, like, hey, you've got an investment account down there. You say, hey, I moved up to Canada. You'll get a notice from them saying, hey, we can't deal with you anymore. Your accounts are frozen, depending on what it is. And so you just want to deal with that right off the bat. And so you also want to keep in mind that the investment fees that you pay on your investment accounts here in Canada are tax deductible. In the States, they most recently, you're not allowed to do that anymore. So keep that in mind as well. Be wary of different investment structures. So mutual funds, probably not going to be your best friend. ETFs, you want to stay away from those. Owning the individual securities, trusts, limited partnerships, things like that. Really, the more complicated something is, the more work it's going to be for your accountant, and the more expensive it's going to be for your accountant to file taxes. A strategy might be is when you're moving up from the US to Canada is to sell all your non-registered investments and trigger some gains and then rebuy them back when you're in Canada. And the reason for that is quite costly for your accountant to keep track of two book values or cost basis. And so what happens is when you move up to Canada, the States just keep your value the same. When you arrive in Canada, you have a new value, and so your accountant's constantly having to keep track of two different values. Can be a real headache, a lot of expense in that, and so it might be just better just to sell everything and then rebuy it when you're in Canada. Tax-free savings accounts, I've heard different opinions from different accountants. Some are okay with you having one, some say don't. Essentially, if you do have one, check with your accountant, get their blessing on it. But what you want to own there is Canadian stocks. And so that's the best thing you're going to do is, if you do have a tax-free savings account, just hold Canadian stocks. A couple other things, RESPs, that's Registered Education Savings Plan. Probably not going to set one of those up. The US isn't going to like it. It's going to create more tax reporting problems. In Canada, we file as individuals. In the States, you have the option of filing single or married. The US taxes on citizenship. So if you, no matter where in the world you live, if you're an American citizen, they want you to file taxes. Canada is based on residency. So if you live in Canada, you file taxes in Canada. Canada has only long-term capital gains. And so in the States, there's short-term capital gains, any gain that's happened under a year and then triggered, and then long-term capital gains over a year. So just be wary of that. We only have long-term capital gains. We have a principal residence exemption, which is unlimited. So in the States, you have your principal residence. You don't have to pay taxes on any gains under $250,000 if you're single, or under $500,000 if you're married. In Canada, that gain's unlimited currently. In Canada, we don't have a death tax. We have a probate fee, and that varies from province to province. In the States, there's a death tax. There's an exemption. It's about $11.5 million currently, US dollars. And so if your state's over that, there could be some death tax that you're paying. So that's a couple of the differences between the countries. If you are thinking of moving to Canada or have just recently moved to Canada, please reach out. I'd love to be a resource for you. Have a great day.